Got to turn our new microphone on.
Okay, begin with the prophecy from Isaiah about what your task is. Bringing the strength of mankind, which of course is their mind, back to
Mm.
the earth.
Mm.
So that's been your task since you've
Yeah,
arrived on the planet.
yeah, that's right. So basically, if you go back to when I was born, there was nothing out there in the sense of what's bullshit you got on TV and movies and uploads and YouTubes, and no one knew anything about the Mayan calendar. And certainly, the Word of God was the Holy King James Bible in some cases, or the Catholic version, but it was all these people knew what was going on, and this is what you've got to have to put up with. And as it turns out, these are the monsters that have known all along about all the secrets of the Great Pyramid and all the secrets of the Mayan calendar. They have it all, and they ain't going to let you have it. Because the idea is to keep you stupid by separating you into little groups of arguing chickens that you end up with a no control of your own godhead. This is they know it, and they're trying to kill you, of course, to keep the population down because they know the magic number is 7 billion.
Okay, but now, so you come back, and
Hmm.
what you find is that the mind or the strength of mankind
It's
is
all up
all
in
over the place,
it's all over
out
the,
in the
every direction you can
Christians
think
wanting
of.
to go and live in the hereafter forever and ever with their Jesus. You've got people believing
Uh-huh.
in aliens
Yeah,
and Nibiru's and things out there, and then you've got mind altering drugs
yeah.
speaking to these
Well,
entities and
the one mind-altering drug which I've encountered in Nimbin and Adam did mention it before we got here, um, is a drug that's produced naturally in your body while you sleep in REM sleep, apparently,
in your
and the
pineal
pineal
gland.
gland. And this is where things, and if you ever had a real dream that was so real that
DMT.
this is the DMT it causes that. Now, okay. Now, the danger of that is that people in particular who've had lots of experience, older people, been on different drugs and different forms of lifestyle, some good, some bad, been in jail, haven't been in jail. Um, as the what was said the other day, most of the criminals are the lawyers and so forth that should be in jail, and the criminals that are in jail should be let out because they're in there under false pretenses in many cases. Now, with the DMT, what happens is this: you're awake, so you start smoking whatever you or taking a pill with the DMT in it, and this is the pill or the drug that caused the shamans and the ancient people to do extraordinary things by being in their environment. They could see into the spiritual world as they saw it, which in fact was a dream. So the dream state does give you that fine detail and complete awareness, but unfortunately, once you wake up, that's not so. So you get a person that goes into this DMT state today. They're some say with the first puff you're in an out of body experience. Well, unfortunately, I can't go into an out of body experience because I've already reached that immortality stage, and the soul doesn't allow is not allowed to leave me now because it's worn as a garment. So that maybe give you some insight as why I can't do it. The people who do it, however, they see all sorts of things, and there's a common denominator, and that is what's already been up on YouTube becomes their reality. For example, the longheads. Right? The longheads were first talked about with the carvings of Kukulkan in the Mayan calendar down in the areas of places like Palenque, for example, where they talk about the long count and the Earth being 16.5 billion years old and all that kind of thing, which of course fits into it's a prophecy. These things that's coming out of the Mayan calendar, they're all prophecy that one day human beings will come up with the idea with a fuckwit Stephen Hawking, for example, and we come out of a big bang, 16.5 billion years. So that's the first consciousness, but it only applies to the time period that the Great Pyramid is predicting, that is between the first solar eclipse and the last solar eclipse. That's the consciousness level. There's 202 of them, and it ends on the date of November the 14th, which is Prince Charles' 64th birthday, who was the same age as Solomon when he died, so therefore he's a reincarnate of Jack the Ripper as Solomon and so forth. And on it goes. They leap back and forth. So all these evil people are here at the moment. So a person on DMT is hearing all this shit. And when they have this new dimension that they go into because they have been able to take the DMT drug and now they're dreaming with their eyes open, uh, they can pull into their own consciousness all these things that they could not have done if it had been done 100 years ago. If DMT would have been used 100 years ago, they wouldn't see the long heads, they wouldn't see the aliens and the flying saucers and everything else they'd bullshit on about. Because it's all part of the psyche that goes into the mind, and there's all these experiences that you've seen, whether it be on talking to someone or watching television or reading a book. Now we've got aliens involved. Then we've got something else and something else, flying saucers. And I've talked to these people, and they are talking about stuff that's all subliminally being put in their mind by the creators of the Tavistock industry in England to make sure this is the way you think. So when you do use your DMT, they're going to think the way they want you to think. Aliens.
Right? Without even you being consciously aware of it. Subconsciously,
that's right.
yes.
Because your subconscious has got all this information there. Now, the subconscious doesn't judge.
It's a mystery. It's
so
a mystery.
It draws upon these strange things that make up the human psyche today. So therefore, while you're conscious, you can very easily be led down the garden path by whatever the TV is telling you. So that's basically what it is.
In a nutshell, anything
Bullshit.
That has influence on you. Anything that has influence on your mind.
So with Atlantis.
There's another one. Atlantis.
You're so right.
That goes back to Edgar Cayce, and I have heard. I don't know whether I've uploaded it or not. I forget. I went to the Edgar Cayce Memorial, and they had an ESP testing machine there, and I got 97 straight, and the management didn't want to know. And my wife, who was with me at the time, she says, "You're tricking it somehow." Well, of course I was. Right? They can make that machine do anything they like. So at the end of the day, there's a whole bunch of people there from all around the world watching me get 97 right out of 100. And the last 3, I told my wife, okay, I'll prove you that I am able to do what I like. I'll get the last 3 wrong, which I did. And this is basically what happened. So dealing with Pauline, my second wife, that was quite an experience because she's mad as a hatter. Right? The first wife is evil as the day is long. Right? The third wife, Michelle, she is another, if you like, necessary step that I had to take to bring forth the children that would give the opening of the Great Pyramid, to explain it mathematically perfect. And she doesn't understand a word of it. Because when the sad day, on one hand, I had to tell her that Janelle is into the picture, and that's your sister, and you don't like it. I know you're not going to like it. Well, that's what all the shit hit the fan then. But it had to be, because I'm not here to have a good time. I'm here to get the job done. Right? I'll have a good time afterwards. Now, with Michelle, lovely woman as she is, damaged goods from parents and so forth, sister, very cruel to her, and she's had a horrid life in a sense of emotion, but also she's been on Coca-Cola all her life and soap, smoking cigarettes, and got amalgam in her teeth. Not one of those things could I stop her doing. Not one. So it's quite an amazing trip to have been with her for those years, but the mathematics of this innocent soul born to the earth to produce children is so astounding that it proves absolutely that the Great Pyramid, and of course links myself to it, and I'm the one explaining it, so therefore I'm explained perfectly.
Okay, now moving right along, because people are asking, how many dimensions are
2.
And soon to be...
Easy. If you want to prove the dimension right now, get yourself a gun and put a bullet through your head. You will go back to the other dimension you came from. That's it. There's no in-betweens with aliens galloping about, which the DMT people see. No, we're not going to another dimension when we cross over, because we are the dimension. We are where it's at. So you get some people that's going to have these dimensions with the DMT and the drugs that they take. Fine. There's no reality. Right, so you're walking around with long heads. I'm sorry, there's no such thing. It's all imagined. Right? So they see it as being absolutely real, as a true deep sleep REM dream will be. If you wake up from one of those, you don't want to come back from it because it's so beautiful or so real or so horrifying, depending on where you're at. But that's the dream state is not to be confused with the conscious state. Right? So we're conscious now. We've got to keep in the consciousness. So you want to go to sleep and smoke a bit of DMT when you're an adult? Good. Don't give it to your kids. None of these drugs go to the kids.
You don't need to alter the mind.
You don't need to. They are perfected. You don't need to alter the mind of God. I myself never had any alcohol, cigarettes or anything even read. I didn't read the Bible. I was 45. I had no influence whatsoever because my existence was I'm here to do a job, and I don't none of the bullshit to stop me from doing it. And it's only by getting into the pyramid and getting into the Bible where I was able to crack the codes, because you've given the secrets to the evil of the earth to bullshit you into thinking that they know and this is how it's got to be done. When the reality is, you're all God in the flesh, and all you got to do is wake up to that. And the little kids being born, they will know, because we will tell them they are God in the flesh. There's no confusion here for a child, right? And you've been confused all your life, right? That's totally Tavistock out of London. That's what they're doing all that.
And Adam made a point addressing aliens. There are no aliens.
No aliens.
He says, to believe in aliens is the rejection of God.
Exactly.
Because you are God, it's the rejection of yourself as well as the Godhead.
The whole idea of the aliens is to convince people that they evolved and they're therefore an animal. Therefore, it goes back to the Talmud, goes back to the first 5 books of the Bible, the bullshit part of the God talking to Moses, for example. All this doesn't happen. Sorry, right? Only one person was Jesus, was God. If you're talking to God, you're talking to Jesus. And if Jesus ain't telling you to love everybody as it was in the Old Testament, and he made it quite clear, right? As Jesus, I made it quite clear that no one talked to him. No one thinks like me. Go and do your thing. Imagine what you like. Invent all the bullshit, and I'll come down and straighten it out. It's as simple as that.
And that makes you the comforter.
No, I'm the comforter. That's why where I was born, the distance to the South Pole is the word comforter. Where the hospital room that I was born into is God to the South Pole. 3877 verses in the name. That's how many nautical miles it is. So it's so perfect that once you study this kind of thing and see what I'm on about, you think, well, we've got no choice here. What's he actually telling us? That you're God? Oh, okay. All you need is a focal point. You do need a king. You need a man that's going to sit back there, and a woman in this case, because it's going to be a Godhead or two. And you want to do something. Well, you're all God in the flesh. You're going to come up with some damn good ideas. But if it starts to go off line a little bit, well, then we'll have a bit of an overlook and see what's doing. And if it's going in the wrong direction, we'll just pull it back. That's what the rod of iron rule with a rod of iron is. It's not out there to be dictating and pointing. It's to talk to me every 2 or 3 years. Huh? There you go. It's about that simple. We can have a plan laid out, no problem. But getting past this epoch of the 9 waves, it does end up being correct. The Mayan calendar is correct. And it's not 5,000 years ago that they got it, right? It's around the middle of the 6th century. And that's when it comes down to it all. And you can go see it today, a place called Palenque, which I've been to. They've got the Mayan calendar there. And it's all quite straightforward. Just don't talk to anybody because they're going to bullshit you, right? Look at it with your own mind and then say, well, you're God in the flesh. How did this all come about? Why are we doing it? Well, because you're in a state of demonic possession, if you like, for the last several thousand years. The idea was that as the Jesus, okay, got to get here, got to die on the cross, okay, it's no big deal, and then leave. Okay, I'll come and tell you what's going on, I'll be back. Keep it, trust it. That's going to happen. So forget all the bullshit they're coming about explaining the Mayan calendar, because these people just do not know what it's about. Okay? So, no, we're not 16 billion light years old or whatever it is that Stephen Hawking's come up with. It's all bullshit. We are here, it's now, and we're doing it.
And it's actually a mathematical formula.
It's a mathematical formula.
It was given
It's
to
straightforward.
demonstrate.
Yes.
And man has only been on the earth for the last short time.
Very short time.
Last day of the creation.
But it doesn't really matter how long you've been here. It's like time and immortality has really got nothing to do with it. What's the point of measuring time when you're immortal? Huh? So get on and enjoy each day. There's no death involved here. So it's working together to get the world into a paradise for the children that's being born today. Take a baby in Iraq has just died, radiation poisoning or whatever they're giving it. Straight back. That's your little God right there. It's gone. It's volunteered for that in the pre.
Winding down.